available is not functional to the best tune of optimum utilization, either not being used or they are not working to the level of their accountability. So yeah, again, accountability issue, which is monitoring issue again. So monitoring certainly is the serious issue, even in the healthcare, that if all the Anganwadis are there, all the health centers are there, all the PHCs are there, why are they not functioning? That's the, again.
Yes. Please allow me to give you slightly different perspective. I am trying to look at it from a non-sectoral view. I'm trying to abstract this problem from a technology dimension. And what I find, I'm a non-technical person, by the way, so I'm a very much a money person with some health and education library experience. So what I find in terms of initiatives where you're using technology, three major challenges stand out. One is this whole mindset of data sharing. Even within our offices, we were having some very animated conversations about it. So this whole attitude about sharing data, that's a very major obstacle. Believe it or not, you might have the best technology, you might have the most sophisticated mobile or whatever platforms, but if you cannot change that mindset, the bureaucracy associated with red tapeism, it's not going to move even an inch. Second is about promoting data standards, open data dissemination standards. For example, in the context of sharing data, we have ISO standards. One such example is SDMX, Statistical Data and Metadata Exchange. It has been endorsed by the International Standards Organization, but not many people have heard about it. I'm sure there will hardly be any person here who would be knowing about it, which is a domain which is completely non-technical. It has nothing to do with IT or .NET or Java or whatever. So having a sense of such standards would be a useful step to ensure that data can be easily exchanged. It's about interoperability of data. So data from education can flow and go into livelihoods. For example, somebody gave a very appropriate use case, like when you are tracking mothers, you know what caseload is going to emerge in terms of morbidity and the health systems. So your planning should be based on this MCTS tracking that is happening. So unless this interoperability is kept into mind and encouraged strongly, we will not be able to see much of a traction on this. And the third part is about promoting open standard, open source systems. Because many times you find that because systems are closed source, because they are licensing based, typical smaller change agents, smaller non-profit organizations are not able to afford these technologies. So if you can develop something which is based on a independent developer scenario, for example, we use ODK, Open Data Kit, which was promoted by Google, and there's a huge developer community around it. So anybody is free to work on it. You need not come back to a particular vendor like us. So you're free to choose. There are people who donate independently. So all our work is actually fed back to the community. So there's no dependency on you to come or to get tagged to a particular donor. So if we promote open source systems, I think it will be very useful in terms of distribution. Thank you.
So I think three messages. One is that we should share the knowledge and the data and the information that we have, at least not outside, but among all of us, because it is only going to benefit the other rather than spending more money to collect the similar kind of information. The second is the database of all the solutions and the knowledge that we have should also be shared. That's what the DEF's role is here to make sure that happens. The third is there are many tools available in open source for which we keep on paying and buying. In fact, ODK is a very good example, like we use it for surveying. And we get three things very, very simple, and all of you should, even if you can't use it, you can get in touch with us how to use it. It is available on your mobile, it is available on your tablet. The reason I'm saying these two is because these both are mobile. For surveying, you need to go to mobile because your paper is always mobile, you fill it and keep it. But in this case, you can take the photo of the place or the person whom you are asking a question, and it automatically takes the location. So you have the photo as a proof and you have a location as a proof that you are there. and these both are recorded. And you don't have to fill this. You just click a button to get the location recorded into it. And you don't need connectivity because it records in your handset, and then as soon as you are connected, it uploads. So this can be easily used, and you can customize the form the way you want. This is very simple thing that when you are doing a survey, especially because you have to again key it in, analyze it, all that you need to do that. And if you have an inbuilt analyzer also, analytics, then even better. Then you can get all the result out of a click of a button. This certainly is the field that we work with. We always need survey form. You always need survey form to find the actual. So this we should certainly remember. Yes.
I'm so sorry. Just wanted to add one more thing. The whole culture of using national data sets, that is again a critical part which often gets overlooked. For example, the amount of data that we have in census that is collected, it's not really put to the maximum potential. I feel there is a very strong demand that can be generated in terms of making this data usable. The other problem which is beyond this particular group is in terms of the levels, the administrative levels that we have. So there is a lot of disparity. For example, the revenue village, the hamlet, the health block. So there is so much of disparity at this level. So for somebody who is trying to come up with a GIS platform, now we are literally struggling with it in the case of Assam. So we could not come up with a GIS platform because there was no map for the health blocks. The administrative sub-national boundaries are not co-terminus to the health block. So this creates quite a bit of a challenge. So if there can be some, maybe DEF is a good platform actually. They can lobby for this. So if this can be, encouraged, that could be something which is useful.
My name is Neelam Bhatnagar, and I am a nutrition specialist at the UNICEF office here. And I was not here in the morning. I just came in. Okay, so I'm not sure what you had discussed, but the struggle, which we are having for many years, not just in Assam, but in entire India and many other countries, is that, the health services are provided, to a different extent. But the component of counseling, which is very weak. And, wherever there is a contact with the mothers or the families, by the Anganwadi worker or the Asha, the key information or the key messages, which we feel if they are transmitted, to the families, or if there is a component of interpersonal counseling, with the families, that would really help in improving the nutrition and health status. So, having said that, I do see here that the use of voice-based systems for counseling, it has been tried out in a smaller area as a pilot. But my concern would be, like how we can get the support of any of the agencies as to how we can, scale up this kind of initiative, where we have key messages on nutrition and health, very basic messages, which can be downloaded in the phone, or we use the technology, and we use some photographs also. And these messages can be related to different themes, infant and young child feeding practices, immunization, nutrition during pregnancy, anemia, iodization, you name it. There are several of these themes, which are there, and there is a lack of awareness in the community. We talk a lot about lack of awareness, but nothing much is done as far as that is concerned. So if we can use the mobile technology, mobile phones, for spreading these basic, simple messages using photographs, and how they can be disseminated through Anganwadi workers, through ASHAs, through ANM, through community health workers, volunteers, whoever. So that would really make an impact. Okay.
Thank you. Just to give you an example, morning May you were not here. I was reading a statistics that in ICDS, 40% of the medicine kit that is given for distribution never get distributed. So, I'm just sitting in a village and just imagining that you are giving me a sermon through SMS that ye khaoge to ye ho jayega, you know, if you eat this, something will happen, if you do this, something will happen. And what is already meant for me, you are not even giving me. So neither I am getting medicine, nor I am getting that food that is meant for me. But I am getting the message very easily. I'm just, you know, it's not a question to you also, myself also. It may be also seen that it is easy for us to send the message rather than the food, which we are sending and it's not getting distributed. Again, it's a monitoring issue, by the way. You know, again, I mean, we have figured out over a period of time that all the malnutrition and all those knowledge is not there, and we have the knowledge that these are things lacking. That's the reason. I will come to you. So, you know, while I'm not negating what you're saying is right, that we need to send an information on a piece of device which is already there, of various things which can help themselves. Forget about depending on government or subsidy or products or services. Forget about that. At least they should know what is good for them and what is not good for them, so that they can follow it.
No, your point is well taken, but there are some of the messages which do not require medicine and which do not require food. You know, like start breastfeeding immediately, you know, within half an hour of birth. So they can do it, you know, breastfeed exclusively for 6 months. You know, they can do it. No medicine, no food. Use locally available foods. You know, you don't need anything. Yeah. No, not even literate community. Not even literate. Even illiterate community, a poor community can do these simple things. So there are many, many messages like that.
Yeah, I mean, I also usually say that preventive health is much more important than curative health. And it is the business people who stress on curative because usme business hai, dhanda hai, you know, you have to sell the medicine and all that. Preventive is much better because at least you won't get sick to get the medicine, you know. So your point is taken care of, or you want to reiterate?
I was talking about, you know, when these messages come, you have to take for granted that the people know how to read and write. See, or just the photograph, or okay. Okay, yeah, I definitely agree. Preventive is, you know, it's the needed.
I mean, for example, in the mobile, in the feature phone, micro SD card is a part of it, and that is becoming, for youth. You must be knowing that they watch movies, having copying. This is entire parallel business of copying music and movies for 5 rupees and 10 rupees, and fill it and then again delete it and then again fill it. Yeah.